I'm Alessandra Barrett, Special Projects Editor for the Journal of Commerce. I'm at our 14th annual TPM conference in Long Beach, and I'm joined by Al Moro, Acting Executive Director of the Port of Long Beach. Thanks for joining me today, Al.
My pleasure, thank you.
The port saw an 11.3% increase in container traffic last year. What are you expecting for 2014?
Well, in 2013, we were fortunate. We saw the beginning of the era of the big ships. And in 2013, we saw the effects that the Port of Long Beach is big ship ready. We had the large 14,000 TEU vessels come into the Port of Long Beach, and the port was ready, so we were able to take that business. In 2014, we see a little more modest growth. That 11.3% in 2013 was a little bit of a shift of cargo between the Port of LA and the Port of Long Beach that happens occasionally. The San Pedro Bay as a whole, in 2013 recognized about 3.5% growth. And so in 2014 we see steady, modest growth in that kind of time range, about 3.5%.
How does Long Beach distinguish itself from other seaports?
Well, there's a lot of different areas. The most important thing that I think Long Beach uses to distinguish itself is reliability. Our customers have recognized that the Port of Long Beach is very well connected to all the different legs within the logistics chain. We haven't just looked at the improvements we made within our own harbor district, but we also have looked at this very, very sophisticated, complicated logistics chain of moving cargo from A to B. And so our customers have grown to rely on the fact that the Port of Long Beach is very well connected with all those stakeholders and has done a good job in getting the velocity and the movement of that cargo even through the port, but then also to its ultimate destinations. The other things that we do is we're very, very well connected to our customers. We understand that a very good working relationship with our customers allows us to understand what they need to prosper. So we always want to make sure that we're taking into account the types of things they need and that we're listening to them so that we can make the improvements that are necessary for that. The third area that we do is we are committed to continue to grow. And by that I mean we're not just out looking for more volume, we're looking at doing the types of improvements that are necessary to, again, improve the flow of cargo. We have a big capital improvement program underway, but we also look again at all the different legs in that logistics chain in order to make it move. In that respect, working with our customers, we often will chair work summit groups. An example is our Rail Action Plan. Our Director of Transportation, our Rail Transportation Director, heads up a group of stakeholders that work with all the different stakeholders at looking at ways to improve rail operations. These are improvements to operations that we can make that don't require a large capital investment. We're also working with stakeholders on looking at ways to become more efficient with a chassis pool. And again, we bring the stakeholders together and work with them on that. We also are looking at ways to improve the turn times. I don't think a lot of the other ports take the time or the effort to help bring all those stakeholders together. And lastly, we've reached out and engaged our community. We recognize that we have to be good neighbors to our local community, and the port is vital to the economy and the jobs in this area and the region. So what we've done is we've shown them that by growth and clean growth, meaning we improve our terminals, we take old terminals out of service, we have very clean new terminals in service. That growth can actually mean cleaner air and, of course, more jobs.
The success of the Clean Trucks program has been phenomenal, and I understand that you've now set your sights on ocean carriers. Can you tell me more about that program?
Well, we have several programs to help the environment with our vessel carriers. We have probably the most successful one has been our Green Flag program. This is a program where the vessel carriers are incentivized to reduce their vessel speed as they come within 20 nautical miles of the port. And by reducing their speed, they can sail in much, much cleaner. This program has been embraced by the vessel carriers, 95% participation, and through that program, thousands of tons of pollution have been removed for the air. Another program aimed at our vessel carriers is what we call our Green Vessel program. And here's another financial incentive that we offer to our vessel carriers that encourages them to bring in the cleanest, newest vessels. So these are vessels that have power plants that are burning alternative fuels are burning much, much cleaner than the older vessels. And that successful program has also been embraced by the vessel carriers. Another one is shore power. This is a program where we've provided the electrical infrastructure so that the vessels, when they're at berth, can plug into the grid electricity, and by doing so, again, they remove a lot of the harmful pollutants that would be coming out of their auxiliary engines while they're at berth. Sort of related to that, as an alternative, we have a technology advancement program that's looking at an alternative way to capture those emissions from vessels while at berth. And it's called Alternative Maritime Emissions Control System. Right now there's a program where at the Port of Long Beach we funded a testing program where we're working with the California Air Resources Board, one of our tenants, and a vendor to see if we can run that program and prove its duty cycle, and that it also will capture and clean up the emissions that are coming out of the vessels. So those are some of the programs that we want our vessel operators to know about and hopefully participate in.
Given the eventual opening of an expanded Panama Canal and the P3 Alliance, what's the port doing to retain its competitiveness?
Being an engineer, the first thing I want to focus on is our capital improvement program. We're engaged in a $4 billion capital improvement program that will, over the next decade, improve the infrastructure in all modes of transportation. We have dredging projects to continue to deepen the water for these large vessels. We have roadway improvements, we have rail projects where that infrastructure is necessary to get the cargo out. But we're also modernizing our terminals, and by doing so, we're taking the older terminals and introducing advanced technology. The Middle Harbor project is a great example where this will be the most technologically advanced terminal in the nation, we believe. Cargo will be able to move through there very productive manner and also very efficiently. The other things we're doing is we are big ship ready. A number of years ago, we recognized that we had to invest in our terminals and infrastructure, and right now we're accepting the largest vessels that call at North America. 14,000 TEU vessels are calling at Long Beach. These vessels are already too large to fit through the new expanded Panama Canal. So we believe that's going to help in our overall competitiveness and deal with the threat of the Panama Canal. And then lastly is that continued commitment to look forward, to always try to be ahead of the curve, look at what the industry is delivering, talk to our customers, find out where the trends are, and make sure that we're building the infrastructure or improving the terminals that keep us in a position that allows them to prosper.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for taking time from the conference to speak with me.
Again, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We've been speaking with Al Moro, Acting Executive Director of the Port of Long Beach.